Now, what attracted me to applying for this position? The number one thing was my experience here in the past. I had real fond experience during this time. The young men that you were going to coach and teach here are phenomenal people. They're great to be around. And that was my memories during my time here, and then meeting with the players last night, the individual panel I met with, the players I met with in this room, just reinforced that. You've got a chance to deal with great people. One thing I've learned in coaching, and my best players, and I've been fortunate enough to coach some guys that are still in the National Football League, but there's been one consistent with all these guys, and that they're great people on the field and great people. They have balance academically, balance in their social life, and balance in their athletic life. And the neat opportunity about here at South Dakota School of Mines is you've got a chance to deal with these guys on a daily basis. This is a phenomenal place to live and work. When I was here before, me and my wife, I got hired in February. We got married that summer. We loved it here. The Black Hills area is unmatchable. The opportunity to bring my family here, this Rapid City community. I have 3 daughters, an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 5-month-old, and I understand how special this community is and the opportunity to live here. People make a place, and the campus feel here, the community feel on campus is tremendous. And it's sitting in here today, I see a lot of familiar faces over here 10 years ago when I was here. When I look through the directory, there's a lot of people that are still here, and there's a reason for that. This is a great place. It has a family feel throughout the community. 2009, I talked about that trip we had from Central Washington, the 2009 season that we came through here. And we had an interesting schedule that year. When we got our schedule, we were going to open up with Mesa State down in Grand Junction, Colorado. That was going to be a Saturday night game, so we were going to fly into Denver, bus over. We were going to play Minnesota Duluth week 2. Well, CBS College Sports has a handful of Division II football games that they put on TV. And we were fortunate enough to get picked to play Minnesota Duluth on a Thursday night in Duluth, Minnesota. So as a coaching staff, late spring and early summer, we're looking at our schedule saying, all right, how are we going to make this work? You've got a Saturday night game at Mesa State. You got to drive back to Denver that night, fly back to Seattle, bus 2 hours back to Ellensburg, get back Sunday night, practice for 2 days, get back on a bus, drive over to Seattle, catch a plane first thing in the morning to Minneapolis. And this is a travel nightmare. So as we looked at the schedule, we started to get creative because at Central we're on a quarter system. So our kids didn't start going to school until about 3 or 4 weeks into the season. So we said, you know what, we're going to take this trip on the road. So we flew down, played Mesa State, got on a bus, stayed in Cheyenne, Wyoming that Saturday night. And then that Sunday we did something that I think really affected the season and our players. And it's part of the reason we were so successful. We drove through the Black Hills. We took our guys through the Crazy Horse Monument, up to Mount Rushmore. And you got to remember, at Central Washington, our makeup was Pacific Northwest, California kids. Some of these guys from socioeconomic backgrounds that would never have a chance to get out of their own state if it wasn't for this trip. And you got these 65 guys, 53 players, 12 support staff, going around Mount Rushmore, going through the Black Hills, and it was an awesome experience to see the look on their faces. We practiced here at the School of Mines for 2 days, that Monday and Tuesday. And that's when I realized this place had changed a lot. O'Hara Stadium was phenomenal. Dunham Field was a great arena. Been around a lot of them at the Division II level, and it stands up to any of them. While our guys were showering, I snuck up here. This Hall of Fame room we're standing in right now was not here. It was just being built. I realized how great a facility that was. I walked by that fitness center that I used to direct and realized it was a whole heck of a lot different. And I told our head coach and I told one of our assistant coaches when we took our bus out here, I said, hey, if this job ever opens, man, I'm going for it. I'm going to do everything I can to get in the mix. So being back here in 2009 really reiterated the feelings I had about this place when I worked here in 2002. I understand the unique opportunity it is to be a head coach. There's very few of these jobs throughout the United States. I've prepared myself to be a head coach at all my different stops. I knew at some point being a Division II head coach was going to be my goal. I've taken on every role I can to prepare myself for that. I've been a study table coordinator, a financial aid liaison. I've ran summer camps at numerous different institutions where you work with every facet of a university. I've been an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator. That's one thing I won't touch is offense. But a defensive coordinator, a special teams coordinator, interim head coach, assistant head coach. variety of community service activities. I've engaged boosters and fundraising activities everywhere I've been. And I've tried to take on all these responsibilities so when this opportunity arose, that I'll be prepared for it. I've worked with a variety of head coaches that have been successful at all levels. And I've taken bits and pieces from these head coaches and put them together to form my own philosophy. You know, I was out recruiting last week, and I was listening to the radio, and there was a quote on the radio, a Thomas Jefferson quote, and it said, you know, opportunities missed by most people because it's dressed in overalls and it's hard work and looks like hard work. Well, I'll guarantee you one thing. I understand what this opportunity is, and we will not be outworked right here. Now, one of the questions was the uniqueness and the challenges here at the School of Mines. And yeah, it is a unique place. It's an unbelievably unique place. Well, where else are you going to get an opportunity to work with some of the brightest minds in America and coach them at a high level of football? I think that's awesome. I think being around these guys, embracing that, and making this the engineering, the destination institution for engineering Division II football players, I think that's a dang unique opportunity. How many times can I walk into a home with a potential recruit, sit down with mom and dad, sit down with a young man, and talk about a handful of universities that have the opportunities we do throughout the United States. And when we talk about these opportunities, we're not talking about the next 4 or 5 years. We're talking about the next 40 or 50 years. And what that sell is for their young man, for his life. The placement opportunities from this university, the opportunities for internship programs, and the job opportunities these young men are going to walk out of here are going to set them for life and make them leaders in this industry. You know, everywhere I've been, people have talked about challenges. You know, I've been in this profession a long time. I know a lot of coaches. Every place has challenges. You talk to guys in the SEC, the challenge at Florida is Alabama's got a bigger recruiting jet than them. So there's going to be challenges wherever you go. There's challenges at Portland State right now. We have high academic standards, and we compete against a lot of schools that don't. When I got to Portland State, it's the 20th largest media market in America. We have a big-time facility down there, and we couldn't get any people in the seats. So we had to accept the challenge of finding a way to reach out to the community. So we started a slogan, our town, your team. We got our players out in the community. They're seeing them as something other than a football player. We brought an exciting brand of football to the park blocks at Portland State. And pretty soon, those seats were filled, and we hit that challenge head on. At Central Washington University, we competed at a national level, a lot of times with half the scholarships that the schools we were playing in the playoffs. We had half the full-time personnel that some of these other Division II schools that we were playing had as we went through the playoffs. At Central Washington University, there was a major gap between the community and the university. That was maybe our biggest challenge at Central. If you're ever on the campus there, you've got Central Washington University, you've got the community of Ellensburg, and there's a street that runs right in the middle called University Way. And when we got hired there as the staff, everybody said, well, that's a brick wall. There's a brick wall between the campus and there's a brick wall between the community. So what we did is we took a sledgehammer, hit that challenge head on, and broke it down. We put a community service plan together. So we reached out to the community. They saw our players in a different light. We went and got to the local merchants and the boosters and found ways to work trade-out programs. And so they were involved in recruiting and helping our guys out. So that was the challenge we had at Central Washington. At Southern Oregon University, it was an NAI program. We had 7 scholarships. We were an NAI independent. We played a schedule that included 1AA FCS teams, Division II teams. I think we played everybody except NAI teams when I was there. And we found a way to go 5-4, have the first winning record there in 5 years. At Western Washington University, like I talked about, it's an extremely academic institution. We were able to recruit, retain, and coach guys to a conference championship and in the national picture. So I think every place is going to have its challenges. It's my job as the head football coach to identify those challenges and find solutions to those challenges. And that's what I'll do here at South Dakota School of Mines. We're not going to dwell on what we don't have, but we're going to focus on the things we do and be positive with it. What are the strengths that I can bring here? I really believe every job is about a fit. It's not necessarily how big your resume is or what your background is at all times. I think it's about fit. I understand Division II football. I've been through this transition from NAI to Division II. I understand rules, regulations, policies. I understand what kind of athletes, what level of talent athletes we need to recruit and retain. I understand what kind of schemes we need to run to be successful here. I've got a background here at the School of Mines. This is a different institution. I understand what type of players we've got to recruit and retain. We have to recruit and retain. And what kind of young men we're going to be around here. I understand this community and understand how the Black Hills area needs to be involved to be successful here. We'll build winners here at the School of Mines. We'll build them in the community, we'll build them in the classroom, and we'll build them on the football field. As I said before, we'll put a community plan together that branches out to the local Rapid City area and the Black Hills area in general. We'll have an academic plan together, an academic game plan that has one goal in mind. That's for our young men to leave here with a degree. We'll put a retention plan together, a 10-for-5 plan, where every 5 days our players will meet with their position coach for 10 minutes and talk about something other than football. I want to make sure we understand the young men that we're coaching. We're engaged in their lives outside of athletics, and that will help with our retention. And we'll play an exciting brand of football here. I'll guarantee you that. We'll run the pistol on offense. That extensive experience at Portland State with the pistol offense. What it does is create a solid run game for us with an option background to it, but also combines that with a modern pass game. We'll be a 30 attack style defense. Zone pressure, man pressure, move our fronts. Focused on blitzing, creating negative yardage plays and turnovers. And we'll be special on special teams. We'll put our best personnel on special teams. We'll block kicks, we'll block punts, and we'll change the game in the special team space. We'll install our core values for our guys. We'll have 5 core values here. 5 Hard Rocker core values that our guys will live by both on and off the field. We'll talk about integrity, responsibility, accountability, perseverance, and hard work. I understand the recruiting. Recruiting's about relationships. I've established those relationships not only regionally, but nationally and internationally, and we'll recruit the best student athletes that can come here and win conference championships. And lastly, this is a critical juncture in the time, the South Dakota School of Mines. I could hit the ground running. I understand what needs to be done here. It won't take me a year or two to figure out this institution or Division II football.